The Myth, the Scourge, the most sought-after spell for early death wizards. For many necromancers, this spell is considered a must-have. It's a low-cost, low-pip AoE that not only does amazing damage, but provides a damage over time effect that can be incredibly useful depending on the situation. See, unlike more favored schools like Balance, Myth, Fire, Ice, and Storm, Death doesn't get any type of early AoE until all the way to level 48 in Dragonspire, near the end of Arc 1. This leaves us poor, neglected death wizards with only a few options to speed up early questing without pulling our hair out because we have to hit twice for every single mob. I mean, you can do it, right? But is this really what you want? Oh, come on! Now, you can solve this problem by hatching for pets such as the Gloomy Eye, which provides a 4-pip AoE Colossofrog card. But let's be honest, pet hatching is expensive now, and the odds of receiving the Gloomy Eye on your first couple hatches is low at best. So unless you want to spend all day farming poor Halfang and Grizzleheim, you might want to look elsewhere for your AoE fix. So what's a young and frustrated necromancer to do? Get Deerknight and make all your problems go away with one smooth, buttery slice of this bad boy's butcher axe, right? Wrong. See, there's one problem. As most wizards out there know, there's only 3 obvious methods to get this spell early on, since it can't be trained through normal progression or level up. First, you can sit at the bazaar and try to collect Deerknight treasure cards, which is both time-consuming, expensive, and overall pointless, since they're only one-time use.
One eternity later.
You can save these treasure cards up to later craft the actual Deerknight spell, but you have to wait all the way till Avalon to do so, at which point you have Scarecrow and other better spell options, which makes it much less useful than early on. Second, you can give into the gambling schemes in the Crown Shop and spend real-life money to open potentially hundreds of packs with only the slightest chance of getting the permanent spell. Yeah, no thanks. Also, if I see any comments below that are like, I got Deerknight on my first pack, just don't talk to me, okay? Because I always convince myself that I can somehow beat the RNG gods and get lucky, but then I end up spending $50 and get trapped inside my house because I have so many useless housing items from packs. Finally, your third option is to face the unholy harpy known as Loremaster herself. As you fight her over and over, each time, you naively believe that this time's gonna be different. She'll drop Deerknight, and your efforts can finally cease. You'll be whole. You'll be complete. But instead, she mocks you, dooms you to an eternity of disappointment by dropping the wrong spells, and filling your battle circle with wizards who waste feint after feint with wand hits, again, and again, and again. There's no escape, guys. Okay, wait, guys. So, I have to let this clip play out. So, on my literal first take, this guy takes out my feint with a wand hit on the first round. This was not scripted. I'm not making this up. Seriously, the curse is real, okay? Before we move on, I should mention that there is technically a 4th option to get Deerknight from a pet ability called the Deerknight Rises. But only a few pets have the ability in the first place, and of those, only one, Igor's Grimoire, is even available for hatching in the kiosk, so it's not the easiest way to do this. We also circle back around to the same problem as the Gloomy Eye pet, which is that pet hatching is expensive, and lower-level wizards don't have a lot of gold lying around to begin with. Getting abilities to manifest on pets can also be a daunting task, all on its own, so I'm personally giving this method a hard pass. Oh, and I should add, right when I was editing this video, a new pet just became available through the Beast Moon Hunt event that also gives you a Deerknight item card at Teen. It's called the Grim Squeaker and was available as a reward for 160 points during the event. It is available for hatching in the kiosk if you want to try to get it, but you do still run into the issue of cost and not getting the hatch you want on your first try. However, my fellow wizards, don't despair. I'm here to show you the light. I offer a different solution, one without TC hoarding, crown gambling, pet hatching, or Loremaster farming. I present to you the underappreciated, often overlooked deerknight jewel. And yes, I did say jewel. Now, from my experience, a lot of people don't know that this jewel exists and that it's pretty easy to craft. You do have to be level 25 to use it, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, and that's a heck of a lot better than waiting till level 48 for your first AoE. Now, where might a young necromancer, eager for blood, find this handy jewel? Well, first we have to travel to a den of iniquity, scoundrels, and thieves, a land where the night never ends and the sun refuses to shine. Yeah, it's Marleybone, so it's pretty easy to find, actually. From the World Gate at Wolfminster Abbey, you're going to take an immediate right upon entering Regent Square and head toward Digmore Station. You'll soon see someone you might recognize from the Marleybone crafting quest. One Miss Felicia Worthington, who, if you've done any crafting quests, you might recognize as that dog lady who gave you a bunch of crafting recipes requiring scrap iron, which meant you had to either go realm hopping for hours to get enough to make her stupid rings and athames, or you would just sit in the bazaar and try to get some there. We know how that goes. Anyway, Felicia is going to prove to be a tad more useful this time for us. If you click under her recipes tab and go to jewels, you'll see she sells recipes for different triangle jewels. You want the death jewels, levels 15 to 25. Now, this recipe gives all kinds of death jewels, ranging in level, but most importantly, there's also a chance that you'll craft a deerknight jewel in the process. Bingo. You see where I'm going with this now?
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Now, if you check out the recipe ingredients to craft this jewel, you'll see it's pretty low cost, with the first ingredient being onyx, which can be bought at any basic Regent vendor, like that dude right behind Felicia, Campbell Hodgson. How convenient, guys. Next up is iron, which is admittedly a bit harder to get your hands on. You can either hunt for it at the bazaar.
Wait, Zephyr, haven't you spent half this video making fun of people who sit at the bazaar and waste their lives refreshing over and over again to get specific reagents?
Yeah. Thanks, Wolf Stormblade. And yes, I admit, I'm asking you to do the unthinkable, but think of the power, the glory you can obtain by putting aside your pride. Do it for this spell, my fellow necromancers. Now, if camping the bazaar doesn't float your boat, like me, you can also get iron by transmuting 10 pyrite and 1 opal. You can get this transmutability by buying it from good old Torald Wayfinder in Grizzleheim for a very affordable 250 gold. From Northgard, head straight inside the Bear's Fortress, and Torald is on your immediate left. Opal can be bought from any reagent vendor, and before you all complain, yes, you might not have any pyrite to use for the other half of the recipe, but thankfully Torald also sells the transmute recipe for pyrite, which costs 10 stone blocks and 1 opal to transmute. To get stone block, you can either camp the bazaar or go to places where stone is easily obtainable, like Krakatopia and the Palace of Fire, or Crab Alley. Then, you can simply transmute the stone block into pyrite and pyrite into iron using a card crafting station, which can be bought from furniture vendors such as Earic? I'm gonna go with Rick in Krakatopia or Neville Cobblestone in Marleybone. Alright, now hopefully you've got the onyx, you've got the iron, now for the dream shields. Thankfully, these are easy and cheap to get from Harold Argleston in the Wizard City Library, where he sells them for 350 gold each under the Death Spell tab. Now we have everything we need to succeed. Go home, get your jewel crafting table ready, and start crafting death jewels. Okay, so you might not get the jewel you want on your first try. We do have to pray a bit to the RNG gods here. Even if you don't get it immediately, keep crafting, and eventually you'll get the jewel. On my death, I got it on my 9th craft. You may get it sooner or a bit later. This part's all down to luck. Once you do get the jewel, there's one more step before you can begin your domination of the spiral, one undead axe swing at a time. You'll notice that the jewel is a triangle-shaped jewel, which means your best bet is to slot the jewel into a deck to use. I personally use the Astute Necromancer's deck, which is for level 25 plus Death Wizards, but you can use any deck with a triangle slot, such as the level 15 Mummified deck or the level 30 deck of the Lotus at the Bazaar. If for some reason you don't want to socket the gem into a deck, you can socket it into any gear items with a triangle slot like an Athame instead, but I suggest a deck is your best option since as you level up, you'll likely be discarding old gear as you go, but with a deck, you can usually find a use for them for quite some time until you reach much higher levels. Once you pick where you want your jewel to go, click on the deck or item and click on Affix Jewels. You'll see this interface, but you'll notice that your triangle socket is likely locked. You have a couple of options to unlock it so you can socket your deerknight jewel. Either spend a few crowns to unlock the slot,
But Zayfa, you told me this would be free!
Yes, I know. But you can easily earn some crowns for free either by doing daily assignments for Aegon Stats and Ravenwood, or by doing daily Wizard101 trivia on their website, where you can earn up to 100 free crowns per day. So quit your whining. You can also unlock the slot with the Novice's Socket Wrench, which is dropped by bosses like Crocopatra, Ara, and Crocotopia, although it may take a while since it's a rare drop. Ultimately, I don't care how you do it, but do it, okay? Do it for our boy. Do it for deerknight. Once you've got your cold, hard-earned crowns or socket wrench, unlock that bad boy, click on the triangle jewel tab, and slot our gorgeous spell right on in there. Take a deep breath, my fellow necromancers, because it's all blue skies ahead from now on. Alright, boys and girls, that's how you get deerknight easily and early on without buying packs or farming that stingy Loremaster. This jewel should tide you over until you get Scarecrow or can more easily craft the real deerknight spell once you hit Avalon. And yes, you only get one copy of the spell to use at a time with this method, but it's such a powerful spell that you should only need one use to kill everything with it anyways, so quit complaining, okay? Get good or something. I don't know. You're welcome. Hey guys, Zayfa here. Thank you so much for making it this far. This is my first YouTube video ever, but I'm hoping to make plenty more in the future. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing since I'll have more awesome videos out soon. Also, please comment below if this helped you, what methods you've used to get deerknight, and any ideas or requests for future videos. See you out there in the spiral, and happy questing!